name's MJ Dolan. I have the honor of being the Executive Director of the Iowa Association of Community College Trustees. We have many people that I'd like to introduce to you, but we have such an esteemed guest as our first speaker. I'm going to postpone those introductions until after the governor. Community colleges have been around for 45 years. Hooray for us. Our student numbers are ever increasing, the programs that we offer are ever increasing, and the numbers of folks that stay in Iowa that attend a community college are ever increasing. And so I hope you're all proud of you for what you're doing about advancing your career and attending an Iowa community college. We have a very special speaker today. Governor Branstad is someone that I've known since 1986. I had the opportunity to work in his office in that time, during the last time he served as governor. So it gives me great honor today to introduce the Governor Branstad and someone that I feel I can call a friend. He has a formal introduction which I will read, and I hope you're prepared because I know he likes to have interaction with his audience. So be thinking about some things that maybe you've wanted to know about government or his career or your future. Governor Terry E. Branstad was born, raised, and educated in Iowa. A native of Leland, Branstad was elected to the Iowa House in 1972, 1974, and 1976, and elected as Iowa's Lieutenant Governor in 1978. Branstad served as Iowa's longest-serving governor from 1983 to 1999. And the rumor is that if once he completes this term, he will be the second longest-serving governor in the country. As the state's chief executive, he weathered Iowa's economic turmoil during the farm crisis, then oversaw the state's resurgence to a booming economy in the 1990s. Following his 4 terms as governor, Branstad went on to serve as president of Des Moines University. During his 6-year and 3-month tenure, he was able to grow the university into a world-class educational facility. Its graduates offer health care in all 50 states and in nearly every Iowa county. While there, he grew enrollment, grew their endowment, and integrated new buildings and programs and initiatives. Under Branstad's leadership, DMU became the first college or university in America to receive the platinum level of recognition from the Wellness Council of America. Governor Branstad and Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds were elected on November 2nd, 2010, and they were sworn into office on January 14th, 2011. In his inaugural address, Governor Branstad put forth his vision for a new covenant with Iowans, which focuses on a shared service and sacrifice toward fellow Iowans. A fair and transparent government that best serves its people, to again have the nation's best schools here in Iowa, and to proudly celebrate Iowa's many success stories, of which all of you will be one. Governor Branstad and his wife Chris have 3 grown children, Eric, Allison, and Marcus, and 4 grandchildren, Mackenzie, Bridget, Sophia, and Alexis. And I would ask you to please stand for the person that I know has the greatest passion for Iowa.
MJ Dolan, thank you for that very nice introduction. And thank you for your leadership with the community colleges. And thank you all for joining us. I understand this is the 23rd annual Student Legislative Seminar for community colleges in Iowa, and I'm glad to see so many of you here today. And I hope you enjoy your time in our capital city of Des Moines. I've been around long enough. I remember when this was a blighted area. When I came to the legislature in the 1970s, this area between the river and the Capitol was very much a blighted and kind of a seedy area. But it's really been revitalized, and this is now called East Village, and everywhere from here, from the Embassy Suites to the Capitol is very much a revitalized area. So first of all, I want to thank the Community College Student Leaders Association for inviting me to giving me this opportunity to address you. I did get to many of your campuses during the campaign. When I ran for governor before, And actually, every year I served, I went to every county every year. And I said, this year, I not only want to go to every college, I want to go to not only every county, I want to go to every college and university. And I was, obviously I didn't get to every campus, because I know there's a lot of community college campuses in Iowa, but I did virtually get to each of the 15 area community colleges, as well as the state universities and the private colleges in Iowa. Because I think it's important for you to know that we not only want you to get a quality education, but I want to make sure there are good jobs available once you complete your education. And I've set some very ambitious goals. We want to focus on bringing 200,000 more jobs to Iowa over the next 5 years and raising family incomes by 25%. We have to reduce the size and cost of government and be more efficient in the way we deliver services. Our goal is to reduce our cost by 15%, but hopefully to be even better at being able to deliver services in a more efficient and economical way. And obviously, we want to restore Iowa's leadership in preeminent positions in education and in educational achievement. I know that many Iowa students are choosing the community colleges to start their higher education. You've had the most dramatic growth of any area of education in Iowa in recent years. And you provide important services. Back when I became governor in 1983, we started the job training program, which the community colleges administer, working with Iowa businesses and companies that are expanding or new companies located here. That's been a great success and helped us great thing and do wonderful things. And we're looking at other ways in which we can work together to meet our very ambitious goals. I think it's important that we do what we can to make sure that there are quality educational opportunities available for you, but most importantly, I think we want to make sure that once you've completed that education, there are jobs available in the fields in which you're going into. And one of the things that I like about the community college is that they have a very practical, focused approach to make sure that the programs that are being offered are in areas that there are going to be jobs available. And I think we've been through a tough time in this state and in this country with this recession. But we're at, I think, on the cusp of a real economic comeback in our country and in our state. We want to do all we can to try to make this state as competitive as possible. And one of the things we need to do is reduce the tax burden on small business. A lot of our new jobs are created by small businesses, and Iowa has a very high corporate income tax, and also our commercial property taxes, which affect your small and Main Street businesses, among the highest in the country. So those are a couple areas that I want to really reduce to try to make Iowa more competitive. But I also recognize the fact that we need to keep our education system strong, and we need to make sure that we have the educational opportunities in the fields that are critically important to the jobs of the future. And there's some very exciting things happening. Biotechnology has opened up all kinds of new avenues, and both in the health-related fields as it affects humans, but also in terms of in the area of renewable fuels and biodegradable plastics and replacing petroleum-based products with products that are made from natural products like corn and soybeans. It was mentioned in the introduction that I grew up in Iowa. I grew up on a farm, and I've really lived in Iowa all my life except for a couple of years that I was away in the service. And I've got to say, I never imagined that I'd have the opportunities that I've had. But a quality education opens up all kinds of opportunities. And being a lawyer, I never imagined I'd be president of medical school. But I had that opportunity for 6 years and 3 months, and it was a wonderful experience. And then I decided to run again for governor because I really felt a calling to get our state's financial house in order. And tomorrow I'm going to present the budget message. And it's going to be a tough, it's going to be, kind of a tough message in the sense that the state of Iowa has got its financial house into a mess by using one-time money for ongoing expenses and not really doing long-term planning and thinking about the impacts of the decisions that we've made. And so I'm committed to straightening that out and making sure that we have stability and predictability in funding for education, and that we have a strategic budget plan that's going to give us the opportunity not only to meet our obligations and responsibilities at the present time, but also to position ourselves for growth and opportunity in the future. I think, there's a lot of different fields and a lot of different opportunities. I've really kind of chosen the life of public service because I think it's very rewarding to be able to be involved in making policy decisions that are going to make a difference and help other people in their lives. But we also look for people that are going to be entrepreneurial in their attitudes and start businesses, and those are the people that create the jobs and make it possible for other people to be employed. So I want to make Iowa much more attractive and much more inviting for those entrepreneurial people. And we know that not every new business is going to succeed, but we need to try to eliminate a lot of the tax and regulatory barriers that serve as obstacles that prevent them from succeeding. And so I think you're going to school at a very interesting, I think, and exciting time, because things are changing very dramatically. And I think Iowa is in a position, because of our natural resources and our abundant natural resources and production there, and with biotechnology, all kinds of new things are happening there. We also know a lot of things are happening with wind energy and biodegradable plastics. And yesterday I was at the Renewable Fuels Association, and we see many things happening in that area as well. So I just want to say I want to wish you the best. I want to encourage you to set ambitious goals, work hard, and look for the opportunities that come along. And I think the people who are the most successful are the ones that see opportunities that some of the rest of us don't see. And so that's where I think it's important for people to sometimes analyze and look at the opportunities that might be right there in their neighborhood that they've never thought of before. And so with that, let me just say thank you, and I'd be glad to respond to questions that you might have. Let me just kind of pose a couple of questions. One of the things I would like to ask you is if you could make one change in the quality of life in Iowa, what would it be? We've seen, I talked about the revitalization of this area and what's happening here, but I'd like in your communities, what are the kinds of things that you think we could do differently or better? And then also, if you could change something about Iowa's education, what would you like to see us change there? We're looking at putting together an education summit in this state before this year is over, and really focus and bring in education reform experts from throughout the country and look at how can we position Iowa, how can we put ourselves in a position to be really a leader that provides globally competitive quality educational opportunities for our citizens. So with that, let me just open it and be glad to respond to your questions. Thank you very much. Question right over here?
Yes, sir. Governor Branstad, one thing I would like to see change in Iowa, of course, community college funding. However, I think the most important aspect that could create the most change for our state is better funding and extreme focus on our children, just starting out with their education. There's so many people that are left behind in our classrooms because they're overcrowded. Teachers don't know how to help kids that have, difficult family lives, and they're on a dead-end street before they ever even get to put their shoes on. I would like to see something to help. We recently just lost our funding for our after-school programs in Keokuk, Iowa. Then that was where the kids would stay, the grade school children, until their parents were home from work. Now they're running the streets, and they would get extra homework help in there, a snack, And it's devastating and it's disappointing to see that we're not even able to take care of our children.
Well, that's a good point, and I think your point is a good one. And we do have limited resources, so we got to try to find how we can do this in the best way we can. And I think the state can be a partner in that, but we also need to encourage businesses who employ the parents to also see how they might be able to help, the nonprofits and other groups as well. But I think your point is a really good one. I had a Jewish mother that taught me that if you get a good education, you know, they can't take that away from you. And it's going to open up a lot of doors of opportunity in your life, and it's so very true. And so I think that's really important. And one of the things, obviously, we need to have parents engaged and involved in their children's education, but we also need to do what we can to help, because a lot of families, both parents are working, and after-school care and things like that can be critically important. I can tell you, I now have 4 granddaughters, and my wife is babysitting 3 of them today. In fact, I want to apologize that Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds normally goes with me to these events, but she's got a pretty good excuse. Her daughter's having a baby in Kansas City today, so she's there with her daughter and her new-to-be grandson. So that's why she couldn't join us today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your question right here.
Hi, Governor Branstad. My name is Sandra Harris. I'm go to Clinton Community College. I think that one change in the quality of life that I'd like to see addressed for our district, Eastern Iowa Community College District, our unemployment rate for our district is 6.8%, or 6.9, excuse me, which is lower than the state's, which is 6.8%. So I want to address, hopefully, the dislocated workers and programs that we have for that. I am a non-traditional college student going back to school to get an education, to get back into the workforce. And I think that in this economy that we're in, that's something that happens a lot. People are not looking to the universities to get back into the workforce. They're looking at our community colleges. And I think that we need to strive to keep that affordable so that people can look at going back and getting back into the workforce. President Obama said in his State of the Union last night, he said to compete, higher education must be within the reach of every American. I understand he's Democrat. I think that is very important, that higher education needs to be affordable and within the reach of every American.
Well, your point is a really good one, and thank you. First of all, I guess let me tell you a little bit about my background. Actually, I came from a farm background, and although I didn't go to a community college, I went to the University of Iowa, and then I went to the Drake Law School. But my parents weren't in the financial position to really help me when I went to college, so I basically had student loans, and I worked in the cafeteria, and I worked summer in construction and that sort of stuff. And I didn't get my last student loan paid off till after I was governor the first time. So I know what it's like to make a financial, but I'll never regretted taking out those loans or doing that, because that opened up a lot of opportunities. Also, being the president of the one university, I can tell you, I saw people graduating from medical school with $200,000 in debt. So, and even though they're doctors, it takes a long time. They have to go through residency after that before they really start making money. So it is worth it but I think, you know, we do need to try to make higher education affordable. My wife went, after our youngest son was in school, my wife went back to school and became a medical assistant at DMAC. So she went to the community college and got her certification and passed the CMA program, and that was I think that was a really great experience. So I do understand and recognize how important that is, and I think it's important that we do what we can to keep it affordable. At that time, I actually, I had 3 kids in Catholic school and my wife at DMAC, so I was paying 4 tuition. So I understand, and that we do need to make sure that we make it affordable, and a combination of providing the financial aid needed, and also I respect and appreciate the fact that the students also, you know, have to sometimes borrow money. And the other thing we did with the inauguration this time is we created scholarships for people that are going into agriculture and healthcare, as well as the children of people that have died since 9/11 in the military. So I thought this would be an opportunity for us, and we think, I think the net result was we raised about $700,000 towards scholarships, and they're being down scholarships in those areas. So I'm very cognizant of the importance of financial aid to students that are going to all of our schools. Yes.
Hi, my name is Elise Martin from North Iowa Area Community College in Mason City. Iowa tuition rates 5th highest in the United States right now. What are your plans and how can you help to keep tuition low for us?
Well, that's a great question. How can we keep the tuition low? And obviously, the other sources that the community colleges get state aid, and unfortunately that was cut just before Governor Culver left office when he did this $84 million across-the-board cut. And what I want to do, and I've got to say, because I'm inheriting kind of a financial mess, and we've got to get the state's financial house in order, I can tell you the next year or two are going to be difficult, because we only have a limited amount of resources, and we're going to have there's not going to be more bailouts, so we're going to have to do this on our own, and we're going to have to do it in a thoughtful way. But we're going to certainly try to do what we can from the state level. I know you also get resources from the property taxes, and then a good share of it has indeed come from tuition. But we need to try to have a balanced approach, and we need to also try to see what we can do through grants and loans and scholarships to try to keep the costs as affordable as possible. Yes, at the back.
My name is Cameron Glenn. I go to Iowa Central Community College in Fort Dodge. I have a question for you. I am a homeless student, so to speak. I had to basically bend over backwards trying to get into school because of the whole financial aid. What are you going to do about that? For young adults who are homeless, who can't get their parents' information for whatever reason, but do want to better themselves, but have to wait until they're 4 or 5 to go to school. What are you planning for that?
Okay, that's a tough question, because usually what happens at schools, they want to know what the family will contribute to stuff like that, and you say,